Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Otumba Adam Show. My name remains rather Adam Solofemolajide, and you guys are welcome specially. All right. So this is the 123rd episode, and we would be looking at identifying great opportunities as an entrepreneur, identifying great opportunities as an entrepreneur, and why the topic, right? Um, One of the things that like I've come to realize is that every entrepreneur wants to make sales, every entrepreneur wants to make money, right? But not everybody really wants to be in that niche where it is saturated, all right? And there are ways in which you can actually get um, a new business or probably like improve on your business that you would be the one to be the main person to have the bigger market share, all right, in that particular business. But before I dive right into what I have for today, right, how are you guys doing? How has been the week? How is work? How is life? How is the freelancing world? If this is your first time of being a part of the show, you know, sorry, you wouldn't really know. It's the old people that would actually know. But we'll talk about business here. We'll talk about freelancing and whatnot. All right. So back to what I have to teach for today: how to identify great opportunities as an entrepreneur. Okay, so number one on the list that I have is, what are your current challenges, right? As an entrepreneur, as an individual, there are certain things that like keep giving you problems, right? You keep having certain challenges that you most likely have difficulty being able to solve, right? Now, those challenges should tell you that like you are not the only person going through it, especially if it is something that has to do with the business you are into, right? It will show you that like, hey, you're not the only person rather facing this particular problem. There are tons of other people facing the same challenges. Now you can then ask yourself that like, okay, if I am facing this problem, if there are a lot of people out there facing this same problem, then that means that if I could come up with a solution to this problem, then it can stand as a business and it can be a great opportunity I can actually make money off on. Because if I am able to solve my own problem, I can easily solve other people's problem. And when you solve people's problem, what follows? The money starts to come. All right. So, number one is, what are your current challenges? Once you know what your challenges are, you'll be able to like solve that, and you're able to solve that problem, then you'll be able to solve other people's problem as well. All right. Number two on the list is, use a new solution to solve an old problem. All right. Now, there's nothing new under the sun, as it were. There are tons of businesses out there. There are tons of ways of doing different things. But the question now is that, can you bring a new style or a new approach to something that is old? All right. Now, let me take it back to the time when writing letters used to be the main thing. All right. Now, people who owned post offices could actually make tons of money off it. But then came the internet, right? And people could easily send messages to someone across the globe in a matter of seconds, right? Probably like a second or two. Now, that is solving an old solution, or, sorry, what's the word now? Having a new solution rather to an old problem, right? The problem is trying to communicate to somebody that is far from you, but bringing in a new solution to it. Another example is the fact that, like, let's take for instance, if you are bitten by a mosquito, for instance, right? You probably would have to like start thinking that, like, hey, how can I use malaria drugs so that like I would not have malaria on the long run. However, you could also look at it from the angle that like, what if I am able to like find a solution of not being bitten by mosquitoes at all, right? Then you are bringing in a new solution to an old problem. I don't know when that time would come in Africa that like we would not have an issue of malaria, but I still want to believe that like someday a solution would be brought up. And by the time it is, a lot of people would want to like buy it because nobody really loves that feeling of having malaria. Like it's insane. But you actually get what I'm trying to say right now, don't you? Yeah. That's you can actually find a new solution to an old problem. Once you're able to like find a new way of doing something that has been pending for a long time, or probably like the business has always been, but you can find a new way or a new approach to it that can make it better, then you have an opportunity at hand that you can actually capitalize on. All right. So that's number two. Number three is what is already selling. All right. Now, there are businesses that like till thy kingdom come, they would always be there. All right. I would take the fashion industry for an example. I would take sunglasses under the fashion industry for an example, right? Now, we all know that like sunglasses would always sell. But the question is, can you get the latest designs, right? Can you be the main person that can start looking for newer designs to sell to your clients or to sell to people who love sunglasses? All right. If you are that type of person that can actually think ahead, then I can assure you that like you would have a larger community trying to like buy from you. But if you're just someone that like you know that like okay, this thing is selling for you, but you're not trying to like improve on that particular product, at some point somebody else is going to take over. All right. There used to be a time that like we had the local television stations, right? Before we then had cable like Go TV, DSTV, and the likes. And right now we now have platforms where you just need to like pay a certain amount and then like just like Netflix, right? And you can easily what's the word? Watch the program that you want to watch. Technology will keep improving. Just know the niche that is selling, all right, and then find a way to like improve upon it. Okay, so that's about that. Number four is what people pick your brain on. Now, I think when it comes to certain issues, every one of us, no matter how okay, I wouldn't want to call anybody dumb, but no matter how unintelligent you might think you are, if you think you are, right, people would still always come to meet you that like, hey, can you help me solve this thing? Because they feel that like you know how to do that thing. And if you realize that like a lot of people keep asking you that same question, can you help me do this thing? Can you help me do that thing? And you are actually good at it, then it is a pointer to tell you that you can actually monetize that thing. You can turn that brain picking to a business. All you just need to do is find a way of uh, strategizing and like writing everything out in a way that like it is sellable. All right. Put it together, put your thoughts together, and then brand it and then sell. Trust me, it is going to be very, very easy for you to like capitalize on it and then make money off it. I would give an example, right? Let's say you are good at drawing, for example, and then people keep coming to ask you, they're like, hey, how do you actually do this particular design? Or you're good at making cakes, right? Like realistic cakes, for example. And then they keep coming to ask you, they're like, hey, I love the way you do this thing. How do you do this? How do you make this recipe? Right. And then you see people coming back to ask you more questions. It is a pointer for you to just say, hey, why don't I just create an online course for people who might be interested in learning how I bake my cakes, how I design my cakes, how I draw um, on paper or whatever it is that like you feel that like you're actually good at, right? Just make sure that like once you find that thing that like you know people always come to ask you for ask you questions about, you can put it in a way that like you can actually sell it. All right. That's on the way. Number five, which is the penultimate number, is research problems people in a niche face. All right. Now, let's say you are in what's the word now? Let's say you are in the fashion industry, and then you could just go to Google and then you type problems tailor's face. All right. Now, when you write something like "What are the problems tailors face" on Google, it will bring different sites, right? And it will give you pointers as to the problems that like people in the fashion industry are actually facing at the moment. And then like if you see that a lot of them have that same issue and nobody's able to come up with that solution. And you can take out time to do the research to find the solution to that problem, or probably like work with someone who is in that niche, and then you guys can come up with a solution together. It is a pointer that like you have found gold and you can actually make money off it. Another way that you can actually do your research is by going on platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Nairaland. Okay, Nairaland is a forum in Nigeria. If you're not actually aware about what it is, right? Go through the forums, search questions, right? If you feel that like it's going to be too hard, while writing your question on Google, okay, you could put the name of the platform that you want to search at the back of it. Let's say problems, Nigerian, what niche can I even talk about right now? Okay, problems Nigerian bakers face. Then at the back, you can put Nairaland. At the back, you can put Twitter, you can put Facebook, and then you then do your research. Now, by the time you search, you start seeing things that like a lot of these people in this industry are complaining about. And then it will give you a headway as to knowing what is needed and looking for the solution to that particular problem. All right. So do your research within the niche you're actually interested in. Most times I would always tell you that like make sure that like you do your research within a niche that you're comfortable in, you have enough knowledge about. All right. For you to like, because there are times that like you might assume that this is the problem that like a lot of people are facing, but with research, it would actually give you that guideline as to knowing exactly rather as to knowing the problem that these people are facing and how to actually find a solution to their problem. All right. Then the last point on my list is feedbacks from your customers. All right. Now, let's say you're serving your customers and whenever you deliver the thing that they request for, they might probably come back to ask you that like, do you also do this thing? And if you realize that like hey, 2, 3, 4, 5 people keep asking for that thing and you feel that like you're not offering that service at that point in time, and they are unable to find somebody doing it, or there are not too many people doing that particular thing, and a lot of people need that thing, then it's a pointer to you that like, hey, why don't I actually consider doing this new thing that like everybody's asking about? All right. Feedbacks from your customers are always necessary. Now, they might not tell you sometimes that like, we need this thing. You could actually ask them that like, okay, I have delivered the service that you requested for. Is there any other thing that like you might be interested in that you feel I am not doing right now? Or is there anything that like you would want me to add to the service I'm actually doing right now? Sorry, that I'm currently doing right now. And they would give you that feedback. That feedback would be enough for you to be able to like push and then create a new business altogether. And it will surprise you that like that particular business would be something grand that can actually make you big, as it were, on the long run. All right, guys, on this note, I have come to the end of the 6 points I have for you guys today. All right, if you're watching from Facebook or YouTube, you know what to do. Just like, subscribe, share with your loved ones. All right, share with your friends, and let more people know about this program. Okay, don't be selfish about it. All right, my name remains Adam Sulofemalajide, and it's been a pleasure having you guys around today again. I'm heading out to start working on the system. Okay, sorry, I'm actually on the system. I'm going back to the work I was doing before now so that I can be able to submit tonight. From me to you guys, be the best version God has created you guys to be, okay? Signing out.